why don't we go ahead and start? I'll call this stand-up meeting of the Land Use and Development Committee to order. We have one item. It's A1A, request approval of the bills and transfers. We got a letter from the auditor saying she's reviewed the bills and certified they all comply with adopted ordinances. The total is $303.52, and I would entertain a motion to pay those bills. Member Frederick, second. My computer's a little slow. Someone want to second that? Member Johnston?
Member Johnston has her hand up.
Was that a second? Yes. Okay. If there's no questions, then we'll have a roll call vote.
Member Soldner.
Yes.
Member Friedrich.
Yes.
Member Johnston.
Yes.
Member Webb.
Yes.
It passes.
Okay. That's all we have on our agenda for land use. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jim.
Tell me when, Joe.
Okay, it looks like you have, Mr. Erickson, you've got yourself, Mr. Martin, Member Schaefer, Member Chung. Hannah Beer looks like she is joining or just joined. The only one I have absent is Mr. Wendt, so you do have a quorum.
Thank you. I call the Justice Committee to meeting here for this stand-up meeting of the Justice Committee. First item on the agenda is item B1A, request approval of position reclassification request for the Public Defender's Office. And can I have a motion? Motion by Member Chung, a second by Member Schaefer. Any comments, discussion, or questions? All right, seeing none, Julie, roll call, and the chairman will be voting.
Member Erickson.
Yes.
Member Martin.
Yeah.
Member Schaefer.
Yes.
Member Chung. Member Chung. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Okay, everybody just went off. Can I hear Member Chung?
Yes, can you hear me, Julie?
I can now.
Okay, yes, thank you.
Member Beer?
Yes.
Thank you.
The Justice Committee is adjourned.
This is George, and I'll call a land use
Turn her on. I'm on, right?
And you are ready to go.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this Thursday, February 11th, full county board meeting. This time I'd like to call the meeting to order. I hope you can all hear me all right. We'll have an invocation. Please stand for the invocation by a member.
Thank you. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you for the beauty of this day. We thank you for the beauty of your creation. Lord, we pray that you will give our leaders guidance and wisdom, from the president to the governor to each of us county board members, that you'll give us wisdom and guidance. And God, we pray that you give us a spirit of civility and that we'll work together. For we ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, this time, Ms. Morlock, could you please call the roll?
Member Martin,
Yes.
Catherine Metzger,
Present.
Susan Schaefer,
Yes.
Logan Smith, absent. James Soldner,
Here.
Harold Thompson,
Present.
Shana Wachinski,
Here.
Benjamin Webb,
Here.
George Wendt,
Present.
Lori Woolrab,
Here.
Josh Barnett,
Present.
Hannah Beer,
Present.
Lindsay Bloomfield, absent. Sharon Chung,
Present.
Leah Klein,
Present.
Chuck Erickson,
Here.
William John Friedrich,
Present.
Elizabeth Johnston,
Here.
Val Lehman,
Present.
John McIntyre.
Here, we have 18 members present and 2 members absent. We do have a quorum. We'll move on to item 5 on our agenda, appearances by members of the public and county employees. In reference to our agenda items, we have no one has applied to speak or have letters written tonight. So I'll move on to item 6, the consent agenda. And before you have the consent agenda. What say you? Is there a motion to approve? Motion by member Metzger. Is there a second? Second by member Thompson. Any comments, additions, or corrections? If none, we'll have a roll call vote at this time to approve the consent agenda.
Member Martin,
Yes.
Member Metzger,
Yes.
Member Schaefer,
Yes.
Member Sollner,
Yes.
Member Thompson,
Yes.
Member Wachinski,
Yes.
Member Webb,
Yes.
Member Wendt.
Yes.
Did I hear from Mr. Webb or did I hear from Mr. Wendt? Okay. Member Woolrab,
Yes.
Member Barnett,
Yes.
Member Beer,
Yes.
Member Chung,
Yes.
Member Klein,
Yes.
Member Erickson,
Yes.
Member Friedrich,
Yes.
Member Johnston,
Yes.
Member Lehman,
Yes.
And Member Webb, I just want to make sure, did you vote on that? I'm sorry.
Yes.
You did? Okay, thank you. And Chairman McIntyre, will you be voting?
Now, the chairman will vote yes, and we have 18 yes votes and 0 no votes. The motion is carried. I'd like you to refer to item D, the transfer ordinances, which can be found on pages 15 through 18 in your packet. Has anyone here has a vote of dissenting? If not, we'll record these as being approved unanimously. I also want to point out to you that item H is approval of bills, and the bills can be found on page 47. We just voted to approve them, but I wanted to remind you again to always take a check on those now each time, because we're doing that at the beginning of the meeting during that consent agenda. Thank you very much. We don't have any resolutions or congratulations. We'll have later. We'll have a letter read by Member Lehman during our other business station. So we'll go on to the report of the standing committees, and we'll go to executive committee first, and to Vice Chairman Solner.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Executive Committee has 2 items for action this evening. 7A, 1A, request approval of an emergency appropriation ordinance, amending the McLean County fiscal year 2020 combined annual and appropriation budget ordinance. This requires 2/3 of the vote. This is an annual task that we do every year to kind of clean up and close our books, and I so move.
Motion by Vice Chairman Solner. Is there a second? Second by Member Klein. Are there comments or questions or discussion? If not, we'll have a roll call vote. Chairman will vote.
Member Martin,
Yes.
Member Metzger,
Yes.
Member Schaefer,
Yes.
Member Soldner,
Yes.
Member Thompson,
Yes.
Member Wachinski,
Yes.
Member Webb,
Yes.
Member Wendt,
Yes.
Member Woolrab,
Yes.
Member Barnett,
Yes.
Member Beer,
Yes.
Member Chung,
Yes.
Member Klein,
Yes.
Member Erickson,
Yes.
Member Friedrich,
Yes.
Member Johnston,
Yes.
Member Lehman,
Yes.
Chairman McIntyre.
Yes, we have 18 yes votes, 0 no votes, and the motion has carried. Sorry for the redundancy, but I'm obligated to ask each time if there was any dissenting votes that were missed that need to be recorded due to our obligations for a 2/3 majority. If there are none at this time, we'll consider that to pass unanimously, and we'll move on to item B. Vice Chairman Sullivan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. 7A, 1B, request approval of a resolution transferring monies from the Community Development Program Fund 0603 to PATH, and I so move.
Motion by Vice Chairman Solner. Is there a second by Member Johnston? Any questions, discussion? If not, we'll have a roll call vote.
Member Martin,
Yes.
Member Metzger,
Yes.
Member Schaefer, Member Schaefer?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, didn't hear you. Member Soldner,
Yes.
Member Thompson,
Yes.
Member Wachinski,
Yes.
Member Webb,
Yes.
Member Wendt,
Yes.
Member Woolrab,
Yes.
Member Barnett,
Yes.
Member Beer,
Yes.
Member Chung,
Yes.
Member Klein,
Yes.
Member Erickson,
Yes.
Member Friedrich,
Yes.
Member Johnston,
Yes.
Member Lehman,
Yes.
Chairman McIntyre.
Yes, we have 18 yes votes, 0 no votes, and the motion has carried. Vice Chairman Solner, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That's all we have for action items. There are a few items to be presented for information, along with our general report, which can be found in the unapproved minutes. I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Thank you, sir. We'll go on to the report of the Finance Committee, Chair, Member Metzger.
Thank you, Chairman McIntyre. We have 7 items for action this evening, and if it pleases the chair, I'd like to do a combining several. I'd like to combine 1A and B, 1B and C together, and then 1E, F, and G together.
There's a recommendation to combine items A and B together, items C and D together, and E, F, and G together. Is there any objection? Without objection, Member Metzger, you may proceed.
Thank you, Chairman. We have item 1A, request approval, and these are all items for year-end cleanup, very similar to what we did for Executive Committee. We have item 1A, request approval of an ordinance of the McLean County Board amending the 2020 combined annual budget and appropriation ordinance found on page 59, and request approval of an ordinance of the McLean County Board amending the 2021 combined annual budget and appropriation ordinance, and I move that.
Motion by Vice Chair Member Metzger. Is there a second? Second by Member Friedrich. Comments or questions? If none, we'll have a roll call vote for items A and B.
Member Martin,
Yes.
Member Metzger,
Yes.
Member Schaefer,
Yes.
Member Soldner,
Yes.
Member Thompson,
Yes.
Member Wachinski,
Yes.
Member Webb,
Yes.
Member Wendt,
Yes.
Member Woolrab,
Yes.
Member Barnett,
Yes.
Member Beer,
Yes.
Member Chung, Member Klein,
Yes.
Member Erickson,
Yes.
Member Friedrich,
Yes.
Member Johnston,
Yes.
Member Lehman,
Yes.
Chairman McIntyre.
Yes, we have 18 yes votes, 0 no votes. Motion is carried. Back to you, Member Metzger. You have the floor.
Thank you, Chairman McIntyre. We're on 7.1C and D, and both those require a 2/3 county board approval as per the Illinois ISC-6-1003. And 1C is request the approval of an emergency appropriation amending the McLean County fiscal year 2020 combined annual appropriation and budget ordinance for the general fund, the Cures Act, and that's found on page 61 through 63. And 7.1D, request approval for emergency appropriation ordinance amending the McLean County fiscal year 2020 combined annual appropriation budget for general fund 001, page 64 through 67, and I move that.
Motion to approve items C and D. Is there a second? Second by Member Chung. Comments or questions? Discussion? None, we'll have a roll call vote.
Member Martin,
Yes.
Member Metzger,
Yes.
Member Schaefer,
Yes.
Member Soldner,
Yes.
Member Thompson,
Yes.
Member Wachinski,
Yes.
Member Webb,
Yes.
Member Wendt,
Yes.
Member Woolrab,
Yes.
Member Barnett,
Yes.
Member Beer,
Yes.
Member Chung,
Yes.
Member Klein,
Yes.
Member Erickson,
Yes.
Member Friedrich,
Yes.
Member Johnston,
Yes.
Member Lehman,
Yes.
Chairman McIntyre.
Yes. We have 18 yes votes, 0 no votes. Motion is carried. Any no votes again to be recorded? Just any votes? Items C and D will pass unanimously. Please record them that way. And I'll go back to Member Metzger. You will have the floor.
Thank you, Chairman McIntyre. We're at 7B, E, F and G are combined, so E. Request approval of the ordinance transferring money from the county general fund 001 to the Child Advocacy Fund 0129, the court security fund 0141, the IDPA 4D Fund 0165, and the Tort Judgment Fund 0135 for fiscal year 2021, pages 68 through 70. 7BF, request approval of an ordinance transferring monies from the Health Department Fund 0112 to the Persons with Developmental Disability Fund 0110 for fiscal year 2021. And 7BG, request approval of the resolution transferring monies from the Working Fund 0002 to the FICA Social Security Fund 0130 and the IMRF Fund 0131 for fiscal year 2021, found on pages 72 through 73, and I move that.
Motion to approve items E, F, and G on your agenda by Chair Member Metzger. Is there a second? Second by Member Lehman. Comments or questions or discussion? Then we'll take a roll call vote.
Member Martin,
Yes. Yes.
Member Metzger,
Yes.
Member Schaefer,
Yes.
Member Soldner,
Yes.
Yes.
Member Thompson,
Yes. Yes.
Member Wachinski,
Yes.
Member Webb,
Yes. Yes.
Member Wendt,
Yes.
Yes.
Member Woolrab,
Yes.
Member Barnett,
Yes. Yes.
Member Beer,
Yes.
Member Chung,
Yes.
Member Klein,
Yes.
Member Erickson,
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Member Friedrich,
Yes. Yes.
Member Johnston,
Yes.
Member Lehman,
Yes.
Chairman McIntyre.
Yes, there are 18 yes votes, 0 no votes, and the motion has carried for items E, F, and G. I know why we used to meet in the mornings now. Member Metzger, you have the floor.
We don't have any other action items, but we have a general report, unapproved meeting minutes found on page 21 through 26, and that's all I have to present tonight.
All right, thank you very much. We'll move on to the report of the Health Committee. Chair Member Schaefer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Health Committee has no items for action today, and our general report can be found on pages 2 through 9 of the unapproved minutes packet. And I have a lot more information to give to the board members. Based on some of the questions that I've received from either board members or constituents, and some of the discussion that was had at Executive Committee, and then we also had a Board of Health meeting last night. I found out that there was going to be a Illinois Senate hearing for their Health Committee today. And so I had reached out to Senator Barrickman, and I also reached out to Representative Brady. When I talked to Senator Barrickman, I asked him, what's the process for us to be able to hear some of our concerns that many of you have relayed to me and our constituents have relayed to all of us. on the vaccine. And so one of the things he did say is that we could possibly testify. And he checked on that and immediately called me back and said all the slots were full. So today I spent 3 hours and 45 minutes watching the Senate hearing to get a lot of information. And I got a lot that I'd like to, some things that I'd like to relay. And if you want more details, you can contact me later because I have like 6 pages of notes. But some of the highlights, they had 3 different panels of people. And the first one was Dr. Ezeki and someone, Grace Howe from DHS. And so there were a lot of questions that the senators were asking of them. And one of the things that I think that all of you have learned through in the minutes that we place our orders on Wednesdays, and then we usually get them on Fridays or Mondays. And some of the senators, one of the senators was asking about there's not that's just not enough lead time to create, you know, clinics and things like that. And so that they are now, I think today starting, the health departments were supposed to get a baseline for what they're going to get for the next 3 weeks so that they can try and schedule out 3 weeks instead of just 1 week at a time, which most of them are just doing pretty much 1 week at a time because they didn't know how much they were going to get. But there's going to be a base number that they're going to be saying that we're going to be getting for 3 weeks out. So that will help that situation on scheduling clinics and when clinics come up for availability. The other thing is that there are only 280,000 first doses a week for the entire state. Now, that's not a lot. And one of the things they also said is that now that we're starting to get into second doses, the second doses are going to increase, but the result is going to be less first doses. And to give you an example, this is what between the senators or later there were some counties that were that did testify. And I'm going to start big, but only because it gives you a little perspective. DuPage County is usually getting about 10 to 20,000 doses a week. Next week, they're getting 2,400. We had been getting around 2,200. Next week, we are getting 500. Peoria, the same, 500 next week. Chicago, 6,000. And think about the millions of people in Chicago. Sangamon's going to get 600. There is basically one of the complaints and the senators had mentioned, and also the other counties mentioned, is that there is like zero consistency as to how many doses we're getting. And hopefully that going 3 weeks out with a base number will kind of help to a point. But that 280,000 accounts both first and second doses for the entire state. So you can see that there's the biggest challenge is obviously availability, period, no matter where you're at. So one of the things that I think it was in our minutes that how we order them on Wednesday and we come get it. This week, we have not yet received our allotment for this week. Today, we still haven't. This is Thursday, and we still haven't. It's expected tomorrow morning. And that was asked, and there was not what I would call a real good answer on that one as to why the delay is so long here. But that creates a problem for the clinics that we have scheduled. And it doesn't make any difference which county you're in. When you're not getting things in a timely manner, it makes it extremely challenging for the health department to try to figure out if they can even have their clinics. And Jessica, I talked to Jessica today after the hearing, and she said she had to be very, very creative on how to manage to get through our clinics that we have already scheduled this week till today. One of the other things that has been brought up and by people that have talked to me and asked me questions on, the counties and the equal distribution between counties. And there's, the senators were saying like there seems to be no transparency. And IDPH is saying they're working on something for their dashboard, but we haven't seen anything yet. But it's very hard. And there's not only the senators, but the other counties that testified also complained that we don't know, and we're not seeing that transparency from IDPH as to the equitable distribution, and they don't believe it's been fair across the state, which we have talked about. We talked about a little bit at exec. So there was somewhat of an answer. There was a lot of discussion from the other counties that basically they're saying the same thing that we've been saying for the last, I don't know how many weeks now, how many months, on the local health departments are the ones that are getting slammed by the problems that have been created. And then with the opening of Governor Pritzker's announcement yesterday, which took everyone by surprise, to say now we're going to add another population into the 1B. When Chicago was on this call on one of the panels, and she said that in Chicago alone, that adds 900,000 people, just that population. And so I don't know what ours is. We don't know that information. You know, the health department can't even figure out that information as to how many more people that would include. However, when the governor said that, he said that it's when you've substantially completed the other 1Bs. Well, we haven't substantially completed that. And we're concerned that the public is going to think, okay, I am, 50 years old, or I'm, 40 years old, and I have this condition that they list very specific conditions, that they are now thinking that they're going to be able to get appointments with a vaccine that we're only getting like 500 of, in a week. So there's going to be a lot of challenges here, and a lot of your constituents might start calling you and complaining because it's going to be even harder. Another thing that was commented on and heard is that even CVS and Walgreens were on this as a panel, and the complaints on the older population that's not technically savvy at all. Only one of them even has an 800 number for them to call. Everything is online. So it's not just, when we started out and it was all online, it's the same thing with CVS and Walgreens right now, because there were a lot of complaints on that. So there was a lot of other things that were said by, there was a panelist from Loretto Hospital, which is a safety net hospital in Chicago, and the chief medical officer for Rush, as to how they are approaching things too. And everybody's pretty much different in how they're actually doing things. However, a lot of them had the same exact criticisms and have been hearing the same exact complaints that we have. So I just wanted to, let you know that we're paying attention, because we wanted to make sure that we were heard in Springfield. And I think that the other counties that were on that hearing that did testify pretty much expressed a lot of our frustrations that we have heard from our constituents. And I don't think that this is going to get better in the near future. And and if anybody has any questions, if you have any now, I'll try to answer them. Otherwise, if you want more details, give me a call.
Thank you, Member Schaefer. Are there questions? Member Klein?
Thank you so much, Member Schaefer, for your advocacy and for sitting into that meeting. I was working today, but I was watching on Twitter, the Twitter feed out from that meeting. So I appreciate you were able to kind of fill out some of the details. I just had one question. So most of what you've been talking about, or you've explained, had to do with the state allocation, and the allocations going to pharmacies like Hy-Vee and CVS and Walgreens. That's a federal program, right? So was there any conversation about ramping up the federal availability of doses? Or is it just, should we expect that those levels will remain the same at the same time as we're losing, in a sense, speed on the state allocation?
Right. The federal have said that they're going to increase our supply or the allocations to the states. I think they made a pretty broad statement when they said that they were going to, or Governor Pritzker said they were going to increase it by 5%. However, one of the things that was said is that they are sending, IDPH is sending it out to the locations faster than they're getting it from the federal government right now. So they're kind of whatever they called it their reserves. So I don't know how an increase from the federal government is going to affect that and how quickly that is actually going to happen.
Right. I meant sort of the Walgreens allocation, the sort of private pharmacies, they're getting it directly from the government rather than the state. So I don't know, they must not have, they didn't tweet about that. So they must not have addressed that. That was just one question of whether that's going to go up and help us compensate a little bit in terms of the need.
The note I have says, we'll give pharmacies more. So I think that, yes, they might get more, but there also was the comment about they're only doing 100 to 200 a day, whereas the health departments that commented talked about how after 9/11, there was a lot of planning done for mass things, mass vaccinations, mass things like that. And so for 20 years, all the health departments have been planning and have in place these plans on how to do this, how to roll this out. All these health departments are saying, we can ramp up, we can do X number a week, just give us a vaccine kind of thing. But IDPH kind of changed all that, the way they're allocating this. And so one of them actually commented that they would prefer that they would just give everything to the health departments and the hospitals and stuff like that, because that's what they know how to do. And they can ramp up to do that. It's kind of one of those, it makes it more available if you give it to pharmacies. However, some do not think that the pharmacies are capable, or not capable, but equipped to doing that, because they have to hire a lot of people then to do the vaccinations. They don't have the people either. I mean, to do this and on a mass scale. So there was a lot of discussion on that kind of thing. It's kind of one of those, it can go either way, maybe. Does that help?
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Thank you. Are there any other questions, Member Schaefer? Member Schaefer, did I hear you say they address anything about the disparity between the counties, such as like Champaign County, Peoria, and McLean County on the amounts?
By the time the counties were testifying about that, IDPH was off the call. They were not on, they did not stay on the hearing the whole time, because there was quite a bit of pretty blunt talk from counties saying that it is not being distributed equitably throughout the state. And when I talked to Ms. McKnight after the hearing, she has calls with IDPH multiple times a week. And I think that they heard that also very strongly today from what she said.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else have questions? I heard that Sam's Club was going to start giving out vaccines, but they're going to ask you to get 6 shots at a time. Is that correct? I'm just joking. Don't call me. Don't call me. Just joking. Do you have anything else for us, Member Schaefer? All right, thank you. Let's go on to the report of the Justice Committee. Chairman Erickson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The first item on the agenda is item 7D1A, request approval of an intergovernmental agreement between the state of Illinois, Illinois Criminal Justice Information Authority, and McLean County, and I so move.
A motion by Chairman Erickson. Is there a second? Second by Member Barnett. Comments or questions or discussion? If not, we'll have a roll call vote.
Member Martin,
Yes.
Member Metzger,
Yes.
Member Schaefer,
Yes.
Member Soldner,
Yes.
Member Thompson,
Yes.
Member Wojcinski,
Yes.
Member Webb,
Yes.
Member Went,
yes,
Member Woolrab,
Yes.
Member Barnett,
Yes.
Member Beer,
Yes.
Member Chung,
Yes.
Member Klein,
Yes.
Member Erickson,
Yes.
Member Friedrich,
Yes.
Member Johnston,
Yes.
Member Lehman,
Yes.
Chairman McIntyre.
Yes, we have 18 yes votes, 0 no votes. Motion has carried. We'll go back to the floor. Member Erickson.
Thank you. The second item on the agenda is item 7D1B. Request approval of a contract for services between DeWitt County Community Mental Health Board and the Children's Advocacy Center, and I so move.
Motion by Chairman Erickson. Is there a second? Second by Member Chung. Comments or questions? If there are none, we'll have a roll call vote.
Member Martin,
Yes.
Member Metzger,
Yes.
Member Schaefer,
Yes.
Member Soldner,
Yes.
Member Thompson,
Yes.
Member Wojcinski,
Yes.
Member Webb,
Yes.
Member Went,
yes,
Member Woolrab,
Yes.
Member Barnett,
Yes.
Member Beer,
Yes.
Member Chung,
Yes.
Member Klein,
Yes.
Member Erickson,
Yes.
Member Friedrich,
Yes.
Member Johnston,
Yes.
Member Lehman,
Yes.
Chairman McIntyre.
Yes. We have 18 yes votes, 0 no votes, and the motion has carried. Back to you, Member Erickson. You have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The next item on the agenda is item 7D1C. Request approval of an emergency appropriation ordinance amending the McLean County fiscal year 2020 combined annual appropriation and budget ordinance asset forfeiture fund 0152, and I so move.
Motion by Chairman Erickson. Is there a second to the motion? Second by Member Metzger. Other comments or questions or discussion? If there are none, we'll have a roll call vote.
Member Martin,
Yes.
Member Metzger,
Yes.
Member Schaefer,
Yes.
Member Soldner,
Yes.
Member Thompson,
Yes.
Member Wojcinski,
Yes.
Member Webb,
Yes.
Member Went,
yes,
Member Woolrab,
Yes.
Member Barnett,
Yes.
Member Beer,
Yes.
Member Chung,
Yes.
Member Klein,
Yes.
Member Erickson,
Yes.
Member Friedrich,
Yes.
Member Johnston,
Yes.
Member Lehman,
Yes.
Chairman McIntyre.
Yes, we have 18 yes votes, 0 no votes, and the motion is carried. Are there any dissenting votes to be recorded? If there are none, we'll direct our recorder to do this unanimously and put it on the record. Thank you. Back to you, Chairman Erickson.
Thank you. I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman. There's just two Georges on my screen and it was throwing me off there a little bit. All right, let's get through this. 7D1D, request approval of an emergency appropriation ordinance amending the McLean County fiscal year 2020 combined annual appropriation and budget ordinance for the Coroner, Children's Advocacy Center, Library, and State's Attorney. And I so move.
Motion by Chairman Erickson, a second. By Member Thompson. Other comments, questions, or discussion? Hearing none, we'll have a roll call vote.
Member Martin,
Yes.
Member Metzger,
Yes.
Member Schaefer,
Yes.
Member Soldner,
Yes.
Member Thompson,
Yes.
Member Wojcinski,
Yes.
Member Webb, Member Went,
Yes.
Member Woolrab,
Yes.
Member Barnett,
Yes.
Member Beer,
Yes.
Member Chung,
Yes.
Member Klein,
Yes.
Member Erickson,
Yes.
Member Friedrich,
Yes.
Member Johnston,
Yes.
Member Lehman,
Yes.
Chairman McIntyre.
Yes, we have 18 yes votes, 0 no votes. Motion, are there any dissenting votes? Motion is carried unanimously. Thank you. Member Erickson, you have the floor.
Thank you. And our general report can be found on pages 15 through 20 of the unapproved minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We'll move on to the report of the Land Use and Development Committee. Chairman Went.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't know why there's two of us, but there is two. I've been trying to get that off of there. The Land Use and Development Committee has no action items and no other report. So thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. We'll move on to the Property Committee report. Chairman Barnett.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Property Committee brings forward two items for action to the board this evening. First item that is before us here is 7F1A, which is request approval of an ordinance by the McLean County Board amending Chapter 205 fees, Article 11 miscellaneous code fees in the McLean County Code. It's on pages 89 through 91 in the packet. And I move that.
There's a motion by Chairman Barnett. Is there a second to the motion? A second by Member Lehman. Comments or questions? Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll have a roll call vote.
Member Martin,
Yes.
Member Metzger,
Yes.
Member Schaefer,
Yes.
Member Soldner,
Yes.
Member Thompson,
Yes.
Member Wojcinski,
Yes.
Member Webb,
Yes.
Member Went,
Yes.
Member Woolrab,
Yes.
Member Barnett,
No.
Member Beer,
Yes.
Member Chung,
Yes.
Member Klein,
Yes.
Member Erickson,
Yes.
Member Friedrich,
Yes.
Member Johnston,
Yes.
Member Lehman,
Yes.
Chairman McIntyre.
Yes, we have 17 yes votes and 1 no vote, and the motion has passed. Back to you, Member Barnett.
Next item property brings forward is 7F1B, which is request approval of an amended third capital improvement agreement with the Public Building Commission. It's on pages 92 through 98 of the packet, and I so move.
Motion by Chairman Barnett. Is there a second? Second by Member Woolrab. Comments or questions? Hearing none, we'll have a roll call vote.
Member Martin,
Yes.
Member Metzger,
Yes.
Member Schaefer,
Yes.
Member Soldner,
Yes.
Member Thompson,
Yes.
Member Wachinski,
Yes.
Member Webb,
Yes.
Member Went,
Yes.
Member Woolrab,
Yes.
Member Barnett,
Yes.
Member Beer,
Yes.
Member Chung,
Yes.
Member Klein,
Yes.
Member Erickson,
Yes.
Member Friedrich,
Yes.
Member Johnston,
Yes.
Member Lehman,
Yes.
Chairman McIntyre.
Yes, we have 18 yes votes, 0 no votes. Motion is carried. Chairman Barnett, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The property has no other items for action. A copy of our general report may be found in the unapproved minutes packet. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll move on to the report of the Transportation Committee, Chairman Sollner.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Transportation has 2 items this evening. First one is G1A, request approval of a resolution for a Memorial Road designation. And with your permission, I'd like to read that resolution into the record. Whereas Scott M. Bundy was born September 9th, 1977 in Bloomington, Illinois, was a 1995 graduate of Lexington Community High School in McLean County. And whereas Mr. Bundy was a U.S. Army National Guard veteran, 1st Battalion, 131st Infantry from 1996 to 2002. Whereas Mr. Bundy co-hosted an annual golf outing for 14 years that provided donations for local charities in McLean County that included the Baby Fold, Habitat for Humanity, Special Olympics, the Boys and Girls Club, and Easter Seals. And whereas Mr. Bundy was employed at the McLean County Highway Department from January 5th, 1999 to July 8th, 2018 as a truck driver laborer, and July 8th, 2018 to August 28th, 2019 as a sign foreman. Whereas Mr. Bundy passed away on August 28th, 2019 while installing a road sign for the McLean County Highway Department. And whereas Mr. Bundy worked the night shift during the winter months at the Highway Department from 2005 to 2018 and was responsible for the snow removal on Towanda Barn Road. Now therefore be it resolved that the McLean County Board approve and designate a portion of Towanda Barns Road between GE Road and Fort Jesse as the Scott Bundy Memorial Road, and be it further resolved that McLean County Highway Department will erect suitable markers designating the aforesaid roadway as the Scott Bundy Memorial Road. I so move.
Motion by Vice Chairman Sollner, second by Member Friedrich. Any comments or questions? Well, obviously, we miss Scott. Prayers with his family and all that he did to help the county. The memorial is well taken. Thank you for this motion. You have to take a vote on this, don't we? We'll have a roll call vote.
Member Martin,
Yes.
Member Metzger,
Yes.
Member Schaefer, Member Soldner,
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Member Thompson,
Yes.
Member Wachinski,
Yes.
Member Webb,
Yes.
Member Went,
Yes.
Member Woolrab,
Yes.
Member Barnett,
Yes.
Member Beer,
Yes.
Member Chung,
Yes.
Member Klein,
Yes.
Member Erickson,
Yes.
Member Friedrich,
Yes.
Member Johnston,
Yes.
Member Lehman,
Yes.
Chairman McIntyre.
Yes, there's 18 yes votes, 0 no votes, and the motion is carried. Vice Chairman Sollner.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The next item is G1B, request approval of an emergency appropriation ordinance, McLean County Highway Fund 0120. This requires a 2/3 county board vote, and this is for some projects associated with the Blooming Grove Wind Farm. I so move.
A motion by Vice Chairman Solner. Is there a second? Second by Member Barnett. Comments, questions, or discussion? We'll have a roll call vote.
Member Martin,
Yes.
Member Metzger,
Yes.
Member Schaefer,
Yes.
Member Soldner,
Yes.
Member Thompson,
Yes.
Member Wachinski,
Yes.
Member Webb,
Yes.
Member Wentz,
Yes.
Member Woolrat,
Yes.
Member Barnett,
Yes.
Member Beer,
Yes.
Member Chung,
Yes.
Member Klein,
Yes.
Member Erickson,
Yes.
Member Friedrich,
Yes.
Member Johnston,
Yes.
Member Lehman,
Yes.
Chairman McIntyre.
Yes, there are 18 yes votes, 0 no votes, and motion carried. Are there any dissenting votes to be recorded? Hearing none, we'll deem this resolution to pass to be recorded unanimously. Back to Chairman Solver.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The general report can be found in the unapproved minutes. I would like to recognize all our county highway workers. They're doing a lot of hard work right now, trying to keep the snow off the roads and the roads salted. The time of year they earn their pay. So with that, I'd be glad to answer any other questions.
Any other questions? We always wish for all of our highway department workers to have a safe season and finish up and be safe. Thank you very much. We'll move on to the county administrator report. Ms. Rodriguez.
Thank you, Chairman McIntyre. County administration has no items to present for action this evening. I know that some of the membership had hoped I would talk about vaccinations, and I'm assuming that Health Committee Chair Schaefer's report sufficed. I hope you're all in receipt of the daily, at least Monday through Friday, updates that I send you on behalf of Ms. McKnight, and I owe you one for today. It will reiterate some of the same that Health Committee Chair Schaefer brought to our attention. I'd be happy to answer questions, but that is the extent of my report, Chairman McIntyre.
Thank you, Ms. Rodriguez. Are there any questions? Member Johnson.
Thank you, Chairman. I just had a quick question. I know that this is really last minute, but I would like to formally request if we could get Ms. McKnight to comment on this idea that, you know, we're going to incorporate these new categories into 1B once we've had a substantial, that seems a very kind of unclear definition, substantial vaccination of everybody else that's been in 1B already. So if that's, because that's something that Member Schaefer had brought up. And so I'm just wondering if we can get some kind of clarification and make sure that we are publicizing that our priority is still going to be the 65 and older with medical conditions, or whatever our stance becomes. If we could just make that clear to the population so they understand about, yes, they all know that we have a lack of vaccine, but to understand that the priority is still going to be the older population. If that's going to be our stance, I just want to make sure we make that clear.
Yes, thank you. We'll pass that on. And as a member of the Health Committee, I'm sure we'll pass on Ms. McKnight before then and make sure that she has that information, as I know she does. By the way, the new online system was up and running this morning, replacing the old one that we had, the Sign Up Genius, which caused many problems and confusions. So I might pass that on to people, and we're believing it's going to be a much better system for people to get on and register so that the call center can contact them when they qualify and where they are in line for the vaccination appointments. So we'll be sure and take a look at that, everybody, because I'm sure you're getting a lot of calls still and emails, and so maybe that would help. I think they've been pretty satisfied on how well it worked this morning. There was one glitch in there, I believe, about 11 o'clock or 11:08, but then it got back working up to speed. There one time there were like 500 calls in 20 minutes, so it's still or hits on the line. So it's still a lot of activity. We know there's still a lot of people that need to get signed up. We'll do the best we can, and we'll pass that on to our health department. They're working very diligently and very hard, putting in long hours to try to help us all get in a situation where everybody can get vaccinated. Are there any other comments? If not, we'll move on to item number 8 on our agenda, which is appearances by members of the public and county employees in reference to any item that's not on the agenda. And I've had a request from a member Lehman to speak. But you have the floor, member Lehman.
Thank you, Chairman. I'd like to read this statement on behalf of the McLean County Board. So each February, we turn our attention to highlight the achievements of African Americans who played a pivotal role in shaping our nation and whose contributions are far too often overlooked. As we honor the achievements, the struggles, and the history of Black residents in McLean County, we simply can't fit these tributes and attention into one month of the year. We must every day recognize and remember the contributions of people like Carabel Washington, who in 1955 was named the first African-American president of the YWCA of McLean County, and was also responsible for the desegregation of local eateries. People like Edward and Lincoln Bynum, who were battle heroes and members of the famed Black Devils of the 370th All African-American U.S. Infantry Unit in World War I. The history of trailblazers like Jack Waddell and Merlin Kennedy and the Duff family have all been highlighted by the McLean County History Museum and can be accessed on their website, mchistory.org, so mchistory.org. We encourage you to take time to go visit the site and to learn a little bit more. So in the spirit of Black History Month, as a county board, we'd like to also take this time to recognize and honor not just the great residents of the past, but also our future McLean County organization, or a few of our McLean County organizations who work to empower our young history makers in the making. Organizations like the NAACP's Act So program that focuses on academic, cultural, technological, scientific Olympics. It's a youth enrichment organization and program that encourages high academic and cultural achievement among high school students. Organizations like Not in Our Schools, which is a campaign to eliminate hate and bigotry and bullying in the Twin Cities schools. Things like the Bloomington Normal Black History Project, where youth participate in celebrating and recognizing the rich history of McLean County. And these are only a few of our great local programs. So also, I'd encourage you tonight to take some time to learn a little bit more about these extraordinary organizations and how you can support or even be a part of them. We as a county board look forward to a future full of honoring our young history makers who are working so hard to shape our community with their activism, their passions, and their energy. As we honor and applaud these outstanding McLean County residents of the past and organizations that are shaping our future, we as a county board recognize that we must do more to create that better tomorrow for the history makers. We recognize and condemn the atrocities and lasting effects of systemic racism and vow to do our part for a more inclusive and representative McLean County. Thank you.
Thank you very much. If you haven't been over the McLean County Museum of History, there is a display of Black history in this county. I'd like to point out the Ward family, friends of my family who my father lived with, who were some of the best athletes in the history of McLean County in Bellflower, Illinois, of all places. So we have a long history with them. Anyone else have anything for a public comment? Member Chung.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to take a quick moment. Since I'm the first Asian to be elected here in McLean County, I wanted to wish you all and our people, especially in our Asian American community, happy Lunar New Year, which starts tomorrow. It's the year of the ox, and hopefully the year of the ox will be much better than the year of the rat. And I just wanted to also say that I think it's particularly important to show our support and solidarity for Asians in our community, especially since violence against Asians has gone up quite a bit in the past year. And there have been a number of harrowing incidents that have been reported in the past couple of weeks. So I think it's important to show our support and solidarity for those Asians in our community, whether they be your friends, co-workers, neighbors, and even our small business owners. So my family will be, Asians really love to eat, so that's how we'll be celebrating tomorrow. So we're going to be having traditional Korean rice cake dumpling soup. But if you are able and if you're so interested, I would encourage you all to maybe go visit or get some pickup and carry out from our lovely Asian restaurants that we have here in Bloomington Normal. So I just want to say 새해 복 많이 받으세요, which is Happy New Year in Korean. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Member Chung, and Happy New Year to you and your family. Anyone else? I'd like to take a moment, since it's Black History Month, if you'd allow me, to pay tribute to an old friend of mine, Mr. Marvin Thomas. He was Sergeant Marvin Thomas here in Bloomington. He was a legend in this community as he helped so many as a member of the Bloomington Police Department. He left us suddenly at an early age of 50 in 1983. It seems like yesterday. I first met Marvin in 1963 when I was a 20-year-old working as a display advertising salesman for the Pantograph. I met him through one of his friends, Mr. Lincoln Ayers, who was a maintenance man who was from Jamaica, who worked at the Pantograph, and I would see him very frequently. Both of these men played guitars, and I was a fledgling, not so good drummer, and we decided to get together to jam, which resulted in us forming what you would now call a garage band. We had so much fun, many fun moments together practicing at Marvin's house, which was out on West Oakland Avenue. And instead of his garage, we actually practiced in his basement where his family and many other neighbors and friends would come and join us. We eventually became respectable enough to play a few gigs around town, mostly at clubs and fraternity parties, and they were arranged by Mr. Jim Tobin. Yes, that big Jim Tobin, who started and was the founder of Tobin's Pizza. I have many wonderful memories of these times with Marvin. His big smile, his strength, yet his tenderness. Marvin was known and respected by everyone in Bloomington Normal. I think that the thing that stands out in my mind the most was he was such a jovial person. Let me read to you a quote from former county board member Richard Buchanan, who was at that time mayor of Bloomington, who said, let me quote, "I grew up with Marvin. He more or less held my hand since 1971. If you ever had a problem, you didn't have to worry. Marvin would be able to work it out on a person-to-person basis. I know that when he walked into the room, I'd better sit down and listen. He would come in with that twinkle in his eye, and before he left, there was always a message." While serving on the Bloomington Police, with the Bloomington Police Department, Marvin received many community awards. Probably one of the ones that he was most proud of was in 1978 when he received the Bloomington Exchange Club's 11th Annual Officer of the Year Award, which was prestigious because it was by a vote of the McLean County Sheriff's Department, the Bloomington and Normal Police Departments. As you know, I've been around town for a long time, and I can name you 20, 30, probably 50 great men and leaders in this community who I've had the pleasure and honor to know and work with as friends. Many are still here. Yes, these men were Black, but until now, I really never thought of Marvin and Lincoln or many others as Black men, and I don't think they thought of me as a white man. We were just men. About 3 hours ago, I had the pleasure to witness the swearing in of Ms. Carla Barnes, our public defender for 6 years, and to become a judge in the 11th District Court System. Carla worked diligently as a public defender and helped so many in this community. A well-earned task for her. She's a shining light for all of us. One of the first Black ladies in the District 11 court system. And congratulations to Carla. if you see her, tell her congratulations. She'll be holding court up in Livingston County for her first assignment. Also, one other item I have, the new member orientation, I remind you, new members will begin at 5 p.m., 5 to 7, this coming Thursday, the 18th. And the second session will be on the 25th, so mark that down on your calendar. I'm looking forward to joining you and answering any questions that you have. And I know that the staff is prepared to give you a lot of information that we hope will help you become very much more up to speed on everything that this county does and how the county board and rules and administration works. I don't have anything else tonight. Anybody else? Any communication? Well, thank you very much. Have a good evening. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay safe, and we'll look forward to seeing you again. Take care.